Hi, good morning. You'll remember the scarf I was doing last week. Well, ta-da! It is finished. Now, last week I discussed the actual patterning in the scarf, which was so super simple, using this James C. Brett yarn, which is, I'm delighted, it took one ball and a tiny weeny bit to make the scarf. It was only for the edging that I needed that extra little bit, because I originally bought 3 balls thinking, oh, it's going to need quite a lot. I mean, I know it's not a long scarf, but I'll show you later. It's twisted over 2 sections, so I'll put it on and then twisted it over again, because I prefer it like that, because then the scarf bits don't get in your way. So I like this sort of cowl scarf. So yeah, 1 ball and a little bit. Perhaps if I'd not done so much border or made it slightly shorter, I'd have got away with 1 ball. I don't know. That sometimes comes down to experimentation. Now, I'm really pleased I've actually got some left over, because it's a double knit, but it's super fine as a double knit. So I know what's going to be happening next. These are going to be for some dolly items, and hopefully I've had another look on the site actually, and they do it in pastels as well, which is great for sort of more like my blyes and things like that. So I might order some more wool yet, and I am considering doing myself a cardigan or a waistcoat or something like that in it, because it has been lovely, because they do plain colours as well as the variegated. Now, what we're going to be doing today is, I had mentioned in the last one that if you haven't seen the last one, I'll pop a link in for it as well. I was going to do the border. So let me see if I can show you, because we were saying that if you do one of these sort of quite sort of holey scarves, they're a little bit unstable and they can stretch and misshape, and I think you do need to border them. So I don't know whether you can see the border very well on that. I will obviously, I'll have put the picture on the thumbnail, and we're going to be going top down to have a look at it, but we're going to actually do the border today, and I'm going to discuss picking up along this edge, because I know myself, it is a mistake that can be made. You pick up too many stitches and it misshapes it completely. You pick up not enough stitches and it pulls it in, because when you're going up the sides, there's not actual stitches to go into. Like when you go across the top, you've got your stitches, you can see your little stitches to go into. When you're going along the side, it's not quite like that, because it's not a stitch, it's the end of a stitch. So it can be a little bit more difficult to work out, and again, a little bit trial and error to make sure you're keeping it nice and stable. So we're going to be actually doing this. I've done just a little sample square of the patterning, and I will show you what I did with this. It is literally, let me think, 3, 4, there's 5 rows. That's all it is. Although when you've got a scarf, you're going round and round and round. It does take a little bit, but it's a great scarf. You can put scarf. It's a great border that you can put on the edge of a cardigan. Anything basically. It's just a standard little border that can make something very simple turn out sort of looking really pretty. So we're going to go top down. I'm going to show you the sample piece, and as I say, if you've not seen the other one, I'll pop a link in so you can actually see how I did it. So simple, such an easy scarf. Really pleased with how it's come out. If you do enjoy the videos, don't forget to subscribe please, and like and share, and let's get top down. And we're not going to use this, but we're going to look at it again, and we'll do a little bit of crochet. So here we are with a little bit of crochet, as I mentioned. Now here is my scarf. As you can see, I've got the edges on it, and I'm really pleased with that. I hope you can see that well enough. It came out quite pretty, and it nicely stabilized the actual scarf. So obviously both sides. So you can see both sides are done there. So this is what we're actually going to be looking at, because I said the previous video did deal with this very basic pattern, but I'm really pleased with it. I don't know whether it's a little bit itchy. That's the only thing. Can you see, obviously it's got all the little hairs in it and things. So I don't know whether I might get used to that. It might need a wash, which made me suddenly think about the yarn. Now, as I mentioned, this is the yarn. It is a James C. Brett double knitting, made for quiet moments, it says, and that was with the color that I actually used. Now I was trying to watch the washing labels. Now as far as I can see, it says a cool wash, 30 degrees, so I'm hoping I'm always nervous when I've used a sort of a slightly more specialized wool about washing it. I mean, it is part acrylic, but it is 20% wool as well. So do I wash a machine or do I hand wash? I don't know, because if I do make a cardigan, I need to make sure I can wash it easily. Obviously do not iron. I generally, I know some people do iron their wool. I won't, because I don't like what it actually does to it. Not much more there. It does recommend the hook size, which is what I actually, did I use a 4? I think I used a 4. I'll have to look back at my other video now. But yeah, so I'm quite pleased with how that came out. So that is the yarn, but that's not what we're using as an experiment today. So we're just looking at the actual how to rather than anything else. So this is just a very quick sampling of the patterning that I use. So this is just using a bog standard double knit. It's a little bit sort of solider, so it's easier for me to show you guys, and I think a little bit more clear than using a variegated yarn. So let's find the end of this yarn. I'm using this yarn for something else at the moment, so I don't want to use too much of it. So let's have a look. Now, I mentioned stabilizing with edges. Now, the reason being is you'll finish your work and you'll sort of look at it and you'll think, wow, that's a bit lumpy. I don't like that. Now, with this yarn, it is still quite solid. With this one, it was so soft, you know, it would just sort of not hold itself at all. So I realized I needed to edge. I always edge my scarves anyway, because I think I just like doing edges. But where do you put your stitches? Now, if we're going along, this is the top, no, that's the bottom. Where am I going? If you're going along sort of the top or the bottom, you can usually see the individual stitches, like, you know, there's a treble there, so you can go, oh right, well that's a treble, you know, there's 3 chain, so you can go 3 chain. It's easier, and you'll be guaranteed not really to stretch it all out, sort of put it out of shape at all. But when we're doing an edge, we're like, well, I know that's a treble, but actually it was a 3 chain. Don't want to complicate this too much, but basically it looks a bit weird. We know we did 3 chain there, so we're like, well, that could be 3 stitches. But what I found from past experience, if I'd gone 3 3 3 3 3 3 3, it would have started to stretch. I don't know why. In theory it should be. I don't know what your experience has been, but I do think it's important to experiment a little bit on your work, then lay it down and make sure it's not sort of splayed that way, or make sure it's not pulled in. Because if you continue around the scarf and this has happened, or it's sort of overstretched, your scarf's going to look a little bit weird when you get to the end, especially if you're doing it both sides. If you want a frilly scarf, it'd make a frilly scarf one way anyway. But yeah, it's just deciding. Now, I made the decision, which I'm not sure why I made this decision, but it's worked, put it that way. So I decided in this one here, where it's either a treble equivalent or a treble, I did 3. I did 3 double crochets. Remember, I am UK terms. Now, I am pretty sure if we're looking at a double crochet here in the UK, it is a treble in the US. So do watch for that, because if you go for the other one, well, you get a different sort of border, which might work. I don't know. It's just a case of playing about. But anyway, I did 3 into the space between the first 2 stitches there. But then I only, even though I know that's 3 chain, I only did 2 here. Then I did the 3. I did a 2, a 3, a 2, a 3, all the way round the scarf. But I did check before I carried on. I went, oh yeah, it's keeping its shape. That's a good quantity. So maybe just have a little play, and if, like I say, check whether you think it's stretching or not stretching. So I'm going to do that first, because all you do first is pick up equivalent to the stitches around your piece of work. So I'm just going to go in this one. Obviously, when it was the scarf, because I made it in a long strip, didn't I? But then I joined it, which I'll show you that actually in a minute. I should have shown you that before. So I've pulled my yarn through. I've done a chain that anchors it, and then now we're going to do 3 double crochets, UK double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now it's up to you whether you crochet that in as you go. It's one way of getting rid of the yarn, which is great, but just make sure you do enough of it. Into that next one, in fact, I'll move that away. I'm not going to crochet in because I don't want it to sort of block where we're looking. So this one was where the 3 chain was, so I'm just going to do 2, which might seem a bit mad, but it worked. So there's just 2. Yeah, now in between these 2 stitches, so those were the 3, so you did a treble, treble and a chain, or it could have been a treble depending on which end you're on. It's a treble equivalent either way. So between the first one on the edge and the second one down, I did 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. We've got to where the 3 chain was. I think the reason I just do 2 where this is because if you're not careful and you're a little inconsistent when you're doing those chain, some might be longer than others, so you'd have to be careful with that as well. So we're just doing 2. The next one is where we have the 3 together, so it's between the first and the second one. I'm going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. The next one is where my chain space is, so I'm just doing, it's not even a chain space, it's just a chain, isn't it? Just 2, and my very last one I'm going to do 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then I'll look and I'll think, it's not pulled it, that's okay. The other thing is, then you'll find you're looking at it and think, oh, it's a bit lumpy. That is because of the stitches that are underneath has made it do that. So I now need another 2 double crochet rows. So when you're going round and round and round on a scarf, that comes out slightly different. We're going to be going backwards and forwards with rows, so it will look a little bit different to my scarf. So it depends whether you're going round or whether you're going, like I said, backwards and forwards. So I'm going to do 1 chain and I'm going to turn, okay? And into the first one I'm just going to do 1 double crochet, into the second one 1 double crochet, and that's all we're going to do all the way along. I mean, obviously, because this is a sample piece, it will look slightly different as well. I had considered waiting and doing it on the scarf with you guys, but then I thought, I don't think you want me to do like X amount of hundreds of stitches all the way around till I get to the next row, for you to be able to see the pattern. So that's why I've done the little sample bit. But it is a super simple border. There's nothing complicated about it. Basically, I did 3 rounds, as we call it, on the scarf, because I joined them together, and we're doing 3 rows. So 1 chain and turn. We're doing 3 rows of double crochets on an edge like this, because you might not have done a scarf where you've joined it. It might be just a super long scarf that you're going to wrap round, and if you did that, it would be rows, not rounds. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it does slightly look different. So we go all the way. So this is our 3rd row. The next bit is going to be the base for this little scallop we've got here. I do love a scallop. I think 90% of the scarves I've ever made have a scallop around the edge. And there we go. So basically that has now stabilized that up quite a lot. It's edged it, it's smoothed it off, it's not stretched it. Yep, so we're okay for that. So now we're going to start with the bit for the scallop, and I'm going to start that with 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, if you're doing it in the round, you wouldn't be turning your work, but because we're in rows, we're going to turn our work over, and then I'm going to miss 3 stitches. You can see this. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. We go. That's the one we're in. I have to watch that. You do be careful, because the one we've come out of is a stitch, so you do have to count that. But then the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and then into number 4, I'm going to do a double crochet. Okay. Then I'm going to do 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to miss 3. 1, 2, 3, into number 4, double crochet. Just get a bit more yarn out because it's rolling around a bit there. So we do 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Miss 3. 1, 2, 3. Into number 4. Double crochet. Last one. We do 1, 2, 3, and 4 chain. Okay, and into, in this situation, look, 1, 2, 3, it's actually the very last stitch on this one. But again, if you're going round, you just go round and round and round until you get back to that point. But can you see I've still not stretched it, even though I've done these chain? Can you see the chain? So if I stretch them out, you can see where I've done that. Yeah. So I've got these little chains here, and this time we are working into the chain space. But because I need to turn, I'm going to do a chain and I'm going to turn. Now into each of those, only 4 in this situation, oh, quite a lot in that situation, as you can see. I enjoyed doing it though. I did it while I was sat watching TV, so it was quite good. So, but into each of one of these, I'm going to do 1 double crochet, again, UK terms, just a reminder, 1/2 treble, which means yarn around into the space, pull it through. You have 3 on the hook like you would for a treble because it starts like a treble, but then you pull the yarn through all 3. Then we are going to do 2 trebles, so it goes through 2 and 2 for a treble, yarn round again, goes through 2, goes through 2 for a treble. Now we need to come back down because obviously a shell is arched, so the next one's a 1/2 treble, so yarn round, pull it through, 3 on the hook, pull it through all 3, double crochet. Or not, I need to drop the stitch. Right, so that is our first one. We'll just carry on with the others before we look at them. So we go in, double crochet, 1/2 treble, don't forget your conversions, treble, treble, 1/2 treble, so there's 2 trebles, and double crochet. Jump straight into the next one with double crochet, 1/2 treble, or not, 1/2 treble, there you go, 2 trebles, 1 and 2, 1/2 treble all the way through, and 1 double crochet. Got 1 more to go and then we'll have a little look. So we have a double crochet, we have a 1/2 treble, we have a treble, we have a treble, a 1/2 treble, and a double crochet. Now if you were doing in the round, when you come to meet the other end, you would just do a slip stitch into the base of it. But obviously if you just went straight up and down, it would just finish like that. So I'm just going to break the yarn. Scissors would have been a good idea. Some yarns will break, some break your fingers. It's terrible. Right, so let's just finish that off with a little knot there. So that is the border. It is super simple. It looks super frilly on the actual piece, so you can see how it's working. If I lay it down, can you see it better? I'm trying to look in the camera with the best angle for you to see its shaping, but we've still not lost its shape. So basically we'll go back to my scarf now. I did this all the way around. I'll show you where I joined it as well. I was quite pleased how it joined because I was a bit worried about it showing because of this sort of lightness. Right, it does show if you look for it. That is where I've joined it. Okay, so you can see I've done a little seam all the way down there. Now I sewn it was sewn this. I didn't crochet it together or anything because I wanted it flat, and if you crochet it together it wouldn't have been flat. So on the wrong side I basically sort of just did like a little ladder stitch all the way up, and it sort of went together quite well, just trying to match it up. It didn't quite match at one end. I'm not quite sure what I did there, so I did sort of just stretch it a bit. As long as it's not outstretched, it was fine. So I started with my double crochets there all the way around, second round, third round, then like we've just done the little loops. You can see actually though, if you compare, look at the size difference. So this is a double knit, but look how much finer it is as a double knit. I'm really looking forward to using it for some doll things, and I'm definitely going to order some of the other colours. Like I say, I don't know how this itch is going to go. Perhaps it's not bad. If you're allergic to wool, obviously it might be bad. Can you see all these little hairy bits that you get off it, obviously because of the wool content. But I'm hoping perhaps if I wash it, maybe a little bit of softener on it, something like that, it might just take that down. Or just wearing it, because I usually wear my scarves over a coat or something like that. It's not quite scarf weather yet here, although it's a little bit cooler today. So it might not touch my skin, but I think if it was next to my skin all the time, it might a little bit. But I actually love the fluff. That's what I like about it. But unfortunately, some people do react to wool, so you do need to be careful with that. But I'm super pleased with it. It's ready for autumn now, so I'm over the moon. Can't believe how quick I got through it. Like I said, this pattern is so quick and you don't even have to think about it. That's what the best thing about it. So it's a TV watching one, which is great to do. So that's it really. Just thought I'd show you my little border. You see it looks different on the back actually. Can you see how it shapes differently at the back? than it does on the front. I like this side when it sort of curls in a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're going to have a go. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you've got any other hints or tips as well, because it helps other people who are watching, because we're always learning. We don't all know everything, so it's nice to hear from other people if they know something different. So again, thank you for watching. Hope you do enjoy everything. Please like, subscribe and share, and see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.